Mic check, mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Let some people get in. Thank you, Paula. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. How you doing today? Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Waiting on a. Okay, good, good. Waiting on a couple more people to get in. See if anybody wants to join in. And then we'll get rolling. That's the thing, I can't see. That's the only thing I don't like about this. I can't see. Oh, there we go. That's what it's at. Still trying to learn this new old for everybody else, new for me, this little software, because you know I'm always late to the party. Story of my life. Let's see if we get 5 people, then we'll go. Let's see if a couple more get on here. If not, then we'll just get going here. We'll wait just a couple more minutes because, you know, I always do stuff impromptu. So we'll see if anybody gets on. All right, that's 4. If we get one more, then we'll get rolling. Okay. Well, hell, we're just going to get going. Okay, y'all can still hear me? Peace, Prince Nakeem, peace. Hey, can y'all still hear me? Y'all give me a 1? All right, good. Let's roll. Okay, so the other night, I had this dream. I'm see if I can remember it. Okay, the dream was, I don't know if I was outside some like a pawn shop. It was some type of store. I'm thinking something like a pawn shop because it was something on Principle Vegan. What's happening? It's something like a pawn shop, some type of store. And when I'm out there, somebody pulled, this guy comes up. He looks like some old school rock and roll musician like Keith Richards or somebody. Some, you know, think like the Rolling Stones from like the 60s, late 60s or 70s. All right. So it's funny because he's got something, he's coming to sell this stuff, but it's like it's inside of a big glass box, and the box looks like one of those little tiny houses that everybody building now. And so me always trying to be the opportunist, I'm like, let me catch him before he go in there. He might have something that, hell, maybe I can make a deal with him, and maybe I can buy it off of him before he goes into the shop to to sell it to the proprietor or the owner, whatever. So I started talking to him, and all I can remember was there were two books. In the dream, I think they were brown, okay? But I do remember distinctly that one of the titles was the Mahabharata. And that's the only one I could see the title of, and I remember distinctly it said Mahabharata on the spine, okay? Which I have a copy of the Mahabharata, but what makes this interesting is that I ain't picked up this book in at least a year, okay? So it's nothing that was even on my mind remotely. Another book that I bought almost a year ago that I haven't picked up is the Atharva Veda. It's a Sanskrit text. Okay. I didn't see the title of the Atharva Veda, but some kind of way I knew in the dream that when I saw that brown, I knew that that was the other book. So, not to dismiss the dream, I said, okay, I think maybe that's a message. And I don't, and these books are huge, so it ain't like you can just sit here, and this is not no Sunday morning easy read. You know, these things are very thick and taxing on you, period, just to take them in. Okay, it's not nothing you just sit down and just skim through and flip the pages. Is what I'm trying to say. You got to read like a page and sit with it. Okay, it's that type of thing. You don't ever read these things cover to cover. It's not these types of, which I know I don't need to tell you all that. But what I did was I said, I'm just going to open this thing and I'm going to see what it says, basically. Okay. And so the first place I turn to, where do I want to start? I want to start with this. I want to start with what I came across in the Atharva Veda. And I want to say this as something. I said this when I discovered this. I said this in my house, and I believe it's very powerful. And I think it's something that would be worthwhile to maybe repeat or recite in your own home or your space, given especially the times that we live in. From an astrological standpoint, Plutonian energy is very, very prevalent right now. All energy has, at minimum, two sides to it. There is no complete this energy that is just this. In other words, everything has a front and a shadow of sorts. So Pluto is associated with the god Dionysus or Bacchus. And if you study the mythology, you know that they were, Bacchus was drawn and quartered, Dionysus was cut up. And it's very similar to the story of Osiris being cut up. So we can say, just for the sense of perspective, Osiris would be maybe the day side or, the front side of the Dionysian energy. Set would be the shadow side of it. Now, metaphysically, they both have their place. The story of Dionysus is also the story of numerology. As those numbers start to segment after the number 1, you're seeing the body of Osiris or Dionysus been cut up. Because for 2 to occur, 1 has to be split, and then 1 has to be cut again for 3, just from a very simplistic standpoint. The shadow side of Pluto is very, very active, meaning the side that stays under the soil. Okay, this is not about good or bad. This is about roles. The shadow side of Pluto under the soil is a necessary component for the growth of vegetation. I'm using very mundane, simplistic terms here. The happenings that go on when a seed is burst and is basically destroyed, peace Milton, peace Legendary, is Plutonic. There's a power, an innate power that wants to express and to split up, dissect, so that everything can serve its purpose, so to speak. Ultimately, though, if that process is allowed to continue, they go in and they extract nutrients from the soil to then give back to the root structure of the plant. And then eventually vegetation comes out of the underworld and sprouts through the soil. And this is what I'm explaining. When these things, this is what this is explaining. See that soil on there? These are symbols. They're mundane symbols. They're mundane components of nature that represent something greater. That's what I'm trying to say. There is a direct effort to prevent the full realization of the Plutonic energy into becoming new vegetation. That's what I'm trying to say. And that is the equivalent of retardation. Say if something's, when a child is delayed, it means that they can't learn. That means that they can't fully grow, okay, and fully mature and develop. To prevent the natural evolution of the Plutonic energy is to promote a form of retardation. Okay. So I'm giving all that backdrop to what I'm about to read, the Atharva Veda. Okay. Because this is written as a counter to certain efforts, energies that would prevent the full realization of a cycle. All right. This is Atharva Veda, hymn 14. Bear with me. It's going to be a little bit. A person far-sighted like an eagle has discovered thee, a quick-witted and strong person. Hold on 1 second. All right. Make sure the family was all right. Okay. Can y'all still hear me? Oh shit. Card is full. Damn. Hey, can y'all still hear me? Can y'all still see me? Okay, is there something on the screen saying that movie recording has stopped? Is a picture still good? Oh, message on the screen. Okay. Shit. I'm trying to figure out how to without losing. Hold on. Okay. Can y'all hear me? Oh yeah, the card is full. Ain't that some? All right. We're gonna if y'all can still hear me and see me, I'm not gonna worry about that little message on there because I'm not recording this on the card anyway. Okay, let's roll. At any time, if y'all can't see me or hear me, then let me know. I'm gonna try to keep an eye on the chat as I'm reading. Okay, starting at him. This is him 14 of the Atharva Veda. O medicine, a person far-sighted like an eagle has discovered thee. A quick-witted and strong person has dug thee, like a boar with his snout. O king, the remover of calamity like medicine, harm thou him who wants to harm us, and drive the violent away. O king, the remover of calamity like medicine, harm thou the tormenting souls, destroy the violent people, chase afar the man who fain would do us injury. O learned persons, just as a violent animal is controlled by piercing his skin all round with daggers, so should a man eating cannibal, being put to distress from all sides, be overpowered and left to his fate. Y'all still with me? Okay, Milton said copy. Okay. O learned persons, just as a violent animal is controlled by piercing his skin. Oh, I just read that. O king, catch hold again and again red handed a violent person, committing mischief, and put him in solitary confinement. Tell him clearly in his face how mischief mongers who take the life of others are liable to be given capital punishment. Let him who behaves violently be punished adequately. Let the public revile him who reviles others. Just as a car rolls peacefully in an open space, so let the criminal, through fear, behave properly. Let him be punished if he again commits mischief. When a woman or a man commits violence with an intention of sin, we overpower him with a similar violence, just as we control a horse with a rope. I want to read that one more time. When a woman or a man commits violence with an intention of sin, now sin, I didn't want to add my commentary, but I am. Now sin, we're using this in connotative sense, not sin and what it really means, because the word sin is that word does not mean denotatively, which means in origin what we think. Okay, sin just means sin. That means the fire in. The fire in man is sin, because every time you pronounce a s, you have to say es. And whenever you say es as an s, it means fire. So sin is sin. Okay. But this is speaking from a connotative standpoint of what we, seeing as in somebody who intends to injure. Okay. So it says, when a woman or a man commits violence with an intention of sin, we overpower him with a similar violence, just as we control a horse with a rope. O violence, whether thou hast been committed by the forces of nature or by men, with the aid of our friend the king, we ward thee off. O king, victorious in fight, subdues the arms of our foes. Back on the violent person, we cast his violence and beat him home. Thou who hast piercing weapons, pierce him who hath wrought violence, conquer him. O king, we do not excite thee to slay the man who hath not practiced violence. O violence, go to the miscreant who uses thee against others, as a son goes to his sire. Bite him as a trampled viper bites, as one who flies from bonds. Go back, O violence, go back to him who commits violence. Just as a female antelope or a female elephant or a female deer jumps at her assailant, so should violence overtake him who resorts to violence. O king and subjects, straighter than an arrow, let it fly against him. Let violence seize against the violent person like a beast of prey. Let it go against the foe, contrary like flame, like water following its course. Let it roll back upon the violent person as a car rolls freely in an open space. I think is worth something that's worth reciting in your home, because we do know that words are not just words. Words are energy patterns. And the Atharva Veda, there's something else I found and I didn't mark the page, which I should have. I'm going to make sure I got that one marked. But I highly encourage you to get you a copy of the Atharva Veda. And if you're interested, maybe I'll try to type that out and put it on the website. Okay. All right. The title of this little conversation is Carry On. And I think the little stuff I found relative to my dream ties right in with the basic sentiment of carrying on. And I'll tell you about carry on in a second here. I got a picture. But I want to read something from the Mahabharata that I found. And this is just in the introduction. Okay, I'm going to start right here. Dharma is not a concept that answers directly or even approximately to any English term, which is why it has gone untranslated in this book. Law, duty, virtue, morality, even lot in life all come moderately close, but none comes close enough. A person's dharma is what is right for that person to do, but one person's dharma is different from another's. It may be wrong for you to have sex, but right for me. It may be right for you to take up a life of asceticism in the forest, but wrong for me. A range of factors combines to determine what constitutes dharma for any given individual. To start with, there is the class to which the individual belongs. This is crucial. Dharma is above all defined in terms of social groupings. A Brahmin should study the sacred Vedas, but it would be utterly wrong, would be adharma for a Sudra to do so. The Kshatriya Dharma includes fighting, ruling, and punishing wrongdoers, but the Vaisya Dharma excludes these. Only by performing one's own dharma can one hope to improve one's station in life at the next rebirth. I thought this was pretty heavy too, because what I extract from that is that You know, I put up this rhyme. I said everybody on the path, but every path ain't the same. There was one primal flame, but it go by many names. You see, that's kind of what I extracted from reading this. What might be your path is not necessarily mine, and vice versa. And I think this was very timely for the times, to use that word again, that we live in. We live in a time where, because of so much uncertainty, that it can push us to search for absolutes. You know, where is the absolute at? Where is it? And the reality to me is that it's not about me or anybody else, or you sharing to me, you know, and vice versa, is, you know, about which way I should go or which way you should go. This theme passage shows how complicated the middle road really is, you know, because that's what it's saying. Should I go to the left? Should I go to the right? Because we live in a world of duality, and we live in a world where we're constantly pushed to make a choice. But what if the ultimate choice is not to choose? Look at the climate we're in right now. You know, I recently got back on Facebook, and it's just amazing. Nothing ever changes. The people never change. The people never grow up. You know, um, you got people on there, they're arguing about this and that, which way should a person should go. But nobody ever seems to consider the idea that haven't chosen, if you haven't selected the choices, then you don't have a choice. Therefore, the only choice, let me take that back. If you haven't selected the choices, then if you choose either one of those, then you're not actually choosing, okay? Because you didn't select the choices. The one thing you have power over, though, is to not participate. And another bar I gave, I said, there is good, there is evil. The Great Pyramid of, I said, I can't even remember the shit. But it's basically, I learned this from a C. Freeman L lecture. You know, he gave the mystery of the Great Pyramid of Egypt. You know, G is for good, E is for evil, P is for perfect. Great Pyramid, GPE, Great Pyramid of Egypt. And that perfect is not a static state. It is a constant back and forth duel to try to find this position. Are y'all still with me? Let me just make sure. Can y'all still hear me? Somebody give me a 1 if you can still hear me, please. I don't want to be on here just running my mouth and somebody give me a 1 if you can hear me and see me. Uh-oh. Is anybody there? Oh, okay. Mindful love, that's what's up. You only fell because you knew that you would be up. That's the Great Pyramid of Egypt. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Been listening. Okay. Oh, it's a time lag. Okay. That might be because well, I don't want to mess with it. Let's just roll with it. We're trying to make the best out of it. So The person who's in the middle really bears the burden. That's the burden bearer. Something else I wanted to talk about, and this is just jumping around here. I'm just gonna touch on some things. Those are two things I just wanted to. Okay, good. So I'm good. Okay, just two things I want to throw out there just to think about. Because my art really is not about, it's not what they call spiritual bypass. It is the middle is the real grunt work. It's the real grunt work. And if you look at the world right now, you can see how hard it is to find a middle position. It is very, very hard. It's also referred to as a hermetic path, the middle. Because in the middle, you're getting squeezed by both sides. And not only are you getting squeezed, you're getting pulled by both sides. When you even look at the cross, the crucifix, the crucifix, all those directions converge in the middle, which is what crucifixion is. The word crucifixion is about the middle point. That's where everything meets. The crucifixion is also, when you look at that Baphomet symbol, what's up, Candace? What's up, King? What's up, Change, Cold Stunner, Mindful Love? When you look at the Baphomet and the left side says coagula, and I'm going to jump around here. Coagula is crucifixion, okay? It is where all of the points converge, okay? Because crucifixion means to come together. Coagulation means to come together, okay? This year has also been the primary energy of this year has been Capricorn, because Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn, three outer planets, have been convening in the sign of Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is what's called an angular house. In astrology, you have, your angular houses, your fixed, and your mutable houses. And they got other terms too to refer to these. Your angular houses initiate action. The fixed houses are about security, okay? That means the action has been initiated, now let me settle into it. The mutable houses then go on to learning from the initiated action, the time spent in the action, which is fixed or secure, so that it can then go on to initiate a new action, which is the next cardinal sign. The cardinal signs are the angular houses. That would be Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. Capricorn is the fourth angular house, starting from Aries, okay? The number 4 coincides with the fourth letter in Hebrew, which is Dalet. And Dalet means door. Think. So the energy of Capricorn has set the tone for this year. And interestingly, the energy of Capricorn has been constrictive, has been binding. But the flip side of that is that when a child is moving down through the birth canal, there's, of course, a narrowing. The bones, the baby's skull actually gets crushed. When a natural birth occurs, the baby, there's innately, there are chemical reactions that occur to allow the baby's skull to get crushed somewhat, so that it can go down into the birth canal, coagulation, okay? The mother's hips start to shift, okay? Her ribs even start to shift to make room in this very tight space which feels like there's no room, there's no movement, stagnation occurs. But that is in preparation for birth. And birth is the same as a door, because a door allows energy to go from one state to another. Carry on. Carry on. That's why the message is carry on. If you've been feeling heavy, somebody emailed me and said that they've been feeling heavy and stagnated. Know this. It does not mean that you are lesser than anybody. And if everybody just keeps it real, this is a collective energy. Because look, astrology is real. I want to send a shout out to Wally Bay, because he asked me years ago, he wanted to pull my chart and everything. He was big on the astrology. He's like, man, everybody need to read their birth chart and read your child. And, I'm thinking, I'm in my metaphysics. Okay, that's cool. Look. And Wally, if you catch this, I hope you and your family doing good, man. But see, Wali's a mutable sign. And he's a Gemini, so he's always curious. But Geminis won't stay still. I'm an Aquarius. I'm more fixed. So I respect what you're talking about, but I ain't fucking with it till I'm ready to fuck with it, basically. Okay? Fixed signs are innately stubborn. Okay? Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio. Stubborn in different ways. So I respected it, but I was like, yeah, that's cool. But when I decided that I wanted to look more into it, it is a necessity. It opens up, and I'm not no person, I'm not no person that say, you pay me, I'm gonna do your chart and read your chart and all that. No, I ain't, but I do know how to learn, and I know how to learn very fast. And taking my metaphysical knowledge and mind, and just my mind, period, and applying these two, it's some powerful shit. Listen, Capricorn is an earth sign. All right. Now, I got another thing on the site. And this is, you go to master students on the website, mastersofthecosmos.com. Okay. When you click on master students, I got something on there called hidden astrological etymology and symbology. Now, I got a section on there where it says etymology of the elements. And I start breaking down, just looking at the origin of each element of the word. Whoever thought just to look up the word earth? We just assume the meaning. But what if we dig into the etymology? Do you know the word earth in its Indo-European basket or usage traces back to a Middle Dutch word that starts at ard, A-R-D, art, A-R-T, ard, A-R-D, and then art, A-R-T. Art. You don't need me to tell you what art means. Create. When the gestation phase of a birth comes after a creation, the actual birth is the realization of the creation. Okay? All of that is embodied in Capricorn. Because what did we say? The angular houses, or the cardinal houses, are houses of action. So the irony of all of this is that in all of this stagnation, what was supposed to be happening was that we're supposed to be in a mindset of creation. That's the counter. You're supposed to be in a mindset of creation. And that's what art is. If you take the word art and go a little deeper, whenever you see R, first of all, just to pronounce the letter R, you have to say A-R, R. whenever you see a AR, ER, or UR, it means light/fire. Y'all gotta. I haven't seen the Lovecraft Country. I gotta go and look at it. So I gotta go and look up. Oh, Ardum. Oh, Ardum. Earth. Black Earth. Ardum. Ham. Ard Ham. Black Earth. Ain't that some shit? Okay, but if you look at the word, let's keep looking at that word ard and art. AR is light, but at the end you have RT, root. So it's the light in the root. Pluto. Pluto, though, works underneath the ground, the soil, the earth, okay? Arut, art, arut, or arud. Even if you say rud, as in ruddy, which is red, okay? Root chakra. Still, we're talking about something down low. The initiating energy, okay? This is where creation occurs, okay? What else I want to say? You all probably very familiar with this quote, Zen quote. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. This is another one that directly ties into Capricorn. My great-grandmother Peggy, my mother grew up in the house it was 4 women and my uncle. My great-grandmother Peggy, great-great-grandmother Peggy Blakely was a Capricorn. My mother is a Virgo. My uncle Labib, who was June at that time before he became Muslim, he was a Capricorn. My grandmother Dorothy is a Capricorn. And my great-grandmother Hattie, I think that we're trying to trace her. I think she might have been a Capricorn. Okay. Now, I didn't know Peggy, didn't know Hattie, but I knew Labib, and I know my grandmother Dorothy. My uncle Labib passed in 2008. But one thing I know about those two, excellent credit. A1 credit. A1 credit. Meticulous, pay those bills on time, before time. Excellent credit. Walk into the bank, get whatever they want. Methodical. Somewhat passive in nature, but very dangerous if they become very angry. That to me is chop wood, carry water. You watch, and we know that the sun sign is not everything, but it represents how a person moves. It represents almost their essence in a incarnation. You know how they function in the world. Sun sign, and both of them very patient, which is some shit that I have had to struggle with for 43 years now. Patience. Okay? Very patient, very methodical. To me, chop wood, carry water. See, I want shit right now. But I'm much better than I used to be. But I'm just highlighting things. Although we're not in the Capricorn season, but we're going to be there very shortly. We're in Scorpio now. We're moving very fast. Final thing, not final. I want to say this. The whole idea of any type of study, okay, it is not to compile useless minutia information. I want to tell you something and share something. A while ago, I introduced this thing. I got this little manifestation guide that I put together. And it's just a way of taking more advantage of a new moon. and using language and scratching or scribing when you write words and other activities to take advantage of coagulating an imaginative idea, coagulating it into physical world. So I don't put these things out as just like a theory. I actually live by it. I don't know where my book is at. I live by it. So for the people who got the thing, the manifestation guide, I tell you to write something starting at the new moon. You write one word, okay? So I'm going to share something. And this is not nothing like no, I walked through a wall or I walked on water, no shit like that. It's just simple shit, but it lets you know. It's the subtle shit. Subtle is all you need if you're paying attention. Okay. I started writing months ago. My word was empire. Okay. Now, empire is not necessarily just from the standpoint of I want to be the next Roman emperor. Empire literally means fire within. Pyre means fire. Pyramid, pyramid. Fire inside. The day after I started writing that word, I pull out my house, I get on the main street, and it just so happens this car gets in front of me, and he's a member of Empire Car Club. I said, that's interesting. Okay. Then I've been trying to find, for a couple of years, trying to find a studio. Can y'all still hear me? Give me a 1 if you can still hear me. I've been trying to find a studio, reliable one to record music in, because it's a lot of you run into a lot of bullshitters, just to be honest. Just anytime you're dealing with art, man, some people can do art, but they can't do the other side. They don't know how to be business people, So I scoured and scoured, found this one guy, the only person that I called on the phone who actually, I'm a big person. Like, I don't like people being snappy with me. I don't like people talking, especially if I'm about to considering spending some money with your ass. Don't talk to me like you doing me a fucking favor, and I'm considering patronizing your business. That arrogant type shit, I can't stand that shit, So you call these people, one dude answer, such as a studio. And I'm asking, say, yeah, because I'm Aquarius. I have curious. I want to know. Try and do my due diligence. Like, you got any examples? Nah, I didn't. You go look up Yellow Beezy, because Yellow Beezy, some little motherfucker here in Dallas that I wouldn't play that motherfucker's music if whatever. If that was the last MC on the earth. It just ain't in my lane. Not hating on the little kid, but 43 years old. Ain't nothing that shit appeals to me. But the way he says is like I done worked with, like he's telling me like he done worked with kings and emperors and empresses, like I'm thinking like, man, fuck this motherfucker, to be honest. So I finally find this guy, and guess who I ran into? He's like, well, I'm booked up, but I would love to hear some of your music. He said, my next opening is not until whatever month he told me. I'm like, well, he probably bullshit. I was like, I sent him the one of my songs. He texts me back later on. He's like, dude, I love the such and such, and I like to work with you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying I need nobody to stroke my ego, but look, I'm big on energy. Just put it that way. I only want to deal with certain people. The name of the studio that he works out of is Empire. empire sound. I wasn't thinking nothing about that shit when I started writing Empire. What's the moral to the story? The more you engulf yourself in a space of knowing, it's like building muscle. If I train my biceps consistently every day, them motherfuckers are gonna grow. If I train them right and I train them consistently and I eat a certain way, they're going to grow. Okay? So being in a certain space creates a mental and spiritual muscle to where when you irradiate certain, whatever comes out of you, the shit comes out with a lot more force, is what I'm trying to say. Which that same shit can be harmful too. Because if you talk shit or talk down on yourself, once you really start to understand what the words are meaning that you're saying, you become more responsible for what you say. Like I say, there's a day side and a shadow side to everything. Nothing's all peachy. So the more you understand what you're saying, now your responsibility increases. You know, and I've seen both sides, and for me, you know, so that's just a little example of you are not speaking randomly. Nothing is just random. Everything is being collected somewhere. Every thought, everything you say, every emotion, everything's being collected somewhere. Okay. Now, you know you can call it astral plane or whatever, but the point is this: your words do have power. The words you speak, the words you say, to make them work in your favor, you got to be present. Be present in your words, what you say, be present in your efforts, but you got to be paying attention. So if I'm always paying attention, I'm always looking for messages. And what happens is the universe is always talking back to me. Always. They're talking through numbers, they're talking through license tags, they're talking through billboards, talking through decal on a window, talking through a song that might come on, talking through the children, talking through a person somewhere. It's always speaking. But you got to be paying attention. Okay. I'm not gonna read out. I want to finish with this quote. And I know this is just all over the place. Who cares? This is a quote I got from James Hillman. James Hillman wrote this book called Pluto. I can't remember the title off the top of my head, but it's a book about Pluto. Hillman is was a Jungian psychologist. Okay. He got this quote from a poet named W.H. Anden, I think. Auden. I can't read my own writing. W.H. Auden. Quote, "We are lived by powers we pretend to understand. They arrange our lives. It is they who direct at the end the bullet, the sickness, or even our hand." End quote. This is going back to the whole thing of, for me, just one aspect of this is what we're doing is putting forth effort to understand these energies that are flowing in and out of us. And this quote right here and several other just living life period keeps me humble. They always say Aquarius are know-it-alls, but that's not the case. For me personally, it is a desire to know it all. It's a big difference. Because I know I don't know it all. And I know that as much as I think I know, there is so much I don't fucking know. And I can say that with confidence and not be ashamed. Because this right here is real deal right here. We are lived by powers we pretend to understand. That's enough in itself. We are lived by powers we pretend to understand. And we can become so arrogant. And I've learned this through just trials and ups and downs in life. Look, stay steady, try to stay in the middle, try to stay even keel. Never get to a point where you know, when I was a teenager, I remember my parents, they would say, um, you starting to smell yourself. You starting to smell yourself. My message to whomever it's for is be careful of not smelling yourself. Arrogance is a drug just like cocaine, and it's a more powerful drug, because you can directly see the effects of cocaine or heroin or methamphetamine, whatever else, alcohol. But it's those things that society doesn't necessarily peg and identify early, that they can really fester, because we're living in a world where arrogance seems to be a badge of honor, because we've become nothing but digitized images. And especially with all the things occurring now where people are more segmented from each other, and all you see is my profile on this computer. I can say anything. I can be as tough as I want to be. I can talk shit in the comments. I can troll, and this and that. And it arrogance is a close cousin to cowardice. Yeah, yeah. Arrogance is very close cousin to cowardice, because this thing here can allow you to be as tough as you want to be. You know, when maybe in person we maybe wouldn't be like that. So why not just be what you is? If you're not a gangster, don't be one online. If you're not a killer, don't be one online. If you're not a holy man, don't be one. Just be what you is. And that's kind of finding that middle point. Stay humble and knowing that you don't know everything, and therefore life does not lose its essence, because that's what life and the word essence are literally the same. That's what this spells out. Life and the word essence, they are fire. That's all it is. It's fire. It says in the first law of thermodynamics, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Why? Because fire cannot be created or destroyed. Fire just is. The word is itself means fire. I-S, it means fire. So life is forever tending to the fire. Simple. Keeps you humble. But knowing those energies behind the fire that imbue it with its properties that make it fire, now that's another story. And that's what keeps us humble, because we are lived by powers we pretend to understand. What's up, DS? What's up, Melchizedek? Dab Dunlap in the house. Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got. I'm about to, in the month of November, I'm about to start cranking up some of our learning modules. Meaning, what's happening? We about to start cranking up some of our learning modules again in Masters of the Cosmos. For people who are already on my email list, I have already reached out to you, and many of you have responded and said that you're interested in doing these learning modules. If you're not on my list yet, and you might be interested, then just shoot me an email. I'm gonna put it in the chat. It's info@mastersofthecosmos.com. You can shoot me an email at info at, let me make sure I spelled it right. info@mastersofthecosmos.com. Right. Just shoot me an email and, just tell me whatever. I want to be on the list, and I'll keep you informed because, like I say, we're gonna start the second week of November. I'm gonna start rolling out some modules, and the thing is, the attempt is not to bust your head, no head busting going around. It's just, this thing didn't post. Let me see. Oh, there you go. No head busting, very affordable. Also, these learning tools right here, these are currently $9.99 on the website. Okay. Now, what's going to happen is next week, or as soon as my man Trey gets done updating the website, these things are going to go up to $14.99. And the $9.99 will only be available for members of Masters of the Cosmos. If you want to get these now, for the current price, you can go on now and order you some, and you can get it for the $9.99. Or, if it ain't the time for you, you can get them later. Or you can become a member, and you'll always get, periodically send out discount codes and other things, because membership has its benefits. All right. Finally, go to thinkmusic.bandcamp.com. thinkmusic.bandcamp.com. All right. You can go and hear all of our music. All right. I think that pretty much wraps it up. Let me see. Say what I want to say about that. Anybody got any chat questions or whatever? We got just a few, about a minute here, and I'm gonna sign off. If not, then I appreciate everybody for joining in today. And thank y'all for being patient, bearing with me. I know last time couldn't get this sound right, and I'll review this after I post this and see. Hopefully, this sound is coming through good, and this is gonna work. And as always, stay down till you get up. When you get up, stay down. Like I say, if you're interested in some more learning on a more private level, where we do it on the back end for Masters of the Cosmos, then you hit me at info@mastersofthecosmos.com. Peace.